Coming up in this afternoon's bulletin, concerned Drivers Association to increase transportation fares by 40% beginning next year. Now, Ministry of Education says plans by government to put up 35 21st century schools will improve STEM education in the country. Coming up in sports, Black Stars to decide their fate in their crucial encounter with Gabon. Will it be an early exit from AFCON? We will bring you expectations from some fans. Good afternoon. This is Pan-African Television News with me, Ivy Abnadidinakite. We are live across 46 African countries and some part of Europe. We are live on Facebook at the moment at Pan-African Television. We have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go anywhere. The news in detail. The Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 40% increment in transport fares across the country starting next week. According to the association, the upward adjustment has been necessitated by the unbearable hardship facing drivers. David Abuado speaks for the association.
It's long overdue that we need to take this 40% that we are talking of. But we see, we as drivers, we don't have interest when lorry fare being increased. But we use all the means and the possible ways, to get government attention to things that are happening in our sector.
Right.
Like, you see, the fuel, the taxes, some taxes on the fuel are no more of use these days. Tax like price stabilization and recovery levy is no more of use. Energy debt recovery levy is a debt that we are paying, and we finish paying on the 1st of November. So that tax must be scrapped off. Fuel marking must be scrapped off to let the fuel down at the pumps. You see, Cote d'Ivoire picks, Burkina Faso picks their fuel from our dump here, but they sell it for their people over there, 22 Ghana cedis. But Ghana, we are buying for 30 cedis. 30 cedis with some pesos.
Right. How did you arrive at this increment, especially when, GPRT says they are not part of, this whole increment thing that you're talking about?
No, GPRT is not saying they are not part.
Are they part?
They are, we concern bring it. But the reason being that I have already started somewhere. You see, we wrote to the government that we don't want to increase fares, but rather they should scrap some taxes so that the petrol come down. But for now, as I'm talking to you, when you go to market to even go and buy a lubricant, engine oil at Goel filling station, when you go for Goel Gamma, it was 65 Ghana cedis then, but now it goes for 110 cedis.
Okay.
You see, so if GPRT is not saying he's not part of, but they say the timing is what they are not comfortable with. As I'm speaking to you, they wrote to us that yes, tomorrow we should meet. We'll be meeting tomorrow. Okay. But we'll tell them the 40% is necessary for us to take. And they will understand it because the parts and then other things that we are using to fix our car are now triple in the market. Steer rag of Sprinter bus last year was 1,800 cedis. But as I speak to you now, it's 2,500. You see, all this has forced us, to increase or to tell us to inform the public that on the 17th of January, we will take 40% increment on our fares.
40%, is it not too high? Aren't you doing something about, let's say 40%, considering the times we are in currently as a country?
Yes, we too we have considered so many things before we come out with that 40%. Even the taxes that we expect government to scrap off, when you read the budget carefully, some have increased by 95%, some are 45%, some are 333%.
Right. You have issued a statement. Have you heard from authorities? I'm talking about the Ministry of Transport, government in general.
We didn't hear anything from them. We didn't. But it's only GPRTU that wrote to us that we should meet tomorrow, Friday. So we are hoping to meet GPRTU. GPRTU is also a transport community, so when they invite us, we need to go and sit with them. So that is what we are going to do tomorrow.
Concerned Drivers Association, who are you? What's your membership? I mean, tell us.
When we are talking of our membership, we are close to, we are in the whole 16 regions.
I see.
The whole 16, and then the districts, even we have branches, local, and then before the national. So the branches are everywhere, the locals are everywhere. You can find concern even at a terminal that exists, but we don't have passengers in it, Achimota here. You can find concern over there when you go to La Paz. Everywhere, we are everywhere. The whole 16 regions.
Very well. Have you considered the effect of this increment on the ordinary Ghanaian?
Yes. I told you earlier on that we started this journey last year, October. Even, if you recall, we went to strike on 6th December.
Right.
It all because of fuel increment and other things. But this time around, we have to. If not, then we are kicking ourselves out from business.
Right. You're meeting GPRT tomorrow. Yeah. If nothing fruitful comes out of your meeting with them, you mean that you are still going ahead with your 40%?
Yes, we will still go on with the 40% if nothing fruitful comes.
Now, the Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana has announced a 40% increment in transport fares across the country starting next week. According to the association, the upward adjustment has been necessitated by the unbearable hardship facing drivers. However, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has disassociated themselves with the announcement.
Concerned Drivers Union Association issued a press statement on the 9th of January 2022 that there is going to be a hike on transport fare by 40% this Monday, 17th January 2022. And also the GPRTU also released a statement that we should disregard every information released by the Concerned Drivers Association. So today I am here at the GPRTU office at Tudu, Accra, to speak to some officials of the GPRTU with regards to why the statement released yesterday, and also to sample views of some drivers and passengers as well with what they make of the both press statement. My name is Cynthia Inkum.
Speaking to Pan-African News, Head of Communication of the Ghana Road Transport Union, Abbas Ibrahim Mura, said their decision is to engage government to scrap some levies on petroleum products and not to increase transport fares.
Drivers Association, our sister union, we are all doing the same business. When currently we all came together and petitioned government on the high price of fuel. We petitioned government to scrap out some of the taxes, whereby drivers we shall be liberated. When we work, we will gain something small out of what we are paying for today. All of a sudden, we all went for the Xmas and New Year break. Whilst at the holidays, we read from their press release about telling their members to come up with a 40% increment upward adjustment in lorry fares effective 17th January 2022.
He further noted that the leadership will meet after resumption from the UTAD break to decide on the way forward. Until then, deliberations on transport adjustment have not yet concluded.
I'm taking 50% upward adjustment, I'm taking 40%, I'm taking 80%. No, there is a process. We have to look at where we were before the current lorry fares, how much price of a lubricant was, and today we'll strike out the percentage. We look at some spare parts. Of course, we'll look at the frequent ones we've been using, like spark plugs, those that we've been changing monthly. The price it was then that of today we strike out the percentage, we look at the fuel itself, how much a liter was sold, and now we strike out the percentage. Even documentations that we use in running transport, we have to bring all together. Then we can now argue on the percentage we want to use for the upward adjustment. Hence our reaction yesterday indicating that yes, we are pleading with other transport operators, they shouldn't take their word serious, and that they should hold on. We are all going to make sure we will do as we've been doing. We have to call them, we come together. Meanwhile, we have presented a petition on striking out some taxes. We have never come out with any upward adjustment in lorry fares until we have met and decided to change the goalpost from striking out some of the taxes to coming out with an upward adjustment. We don't do things that way.
Meanwhile, some drivers at the Tudu Aflawo station are against any increase in transport fares.
The fare is too much, the fuel is too much. Nowadays, there's no money in the system, so it's hard for the passengers to pay the fare. Meanwhile, the fuel is going higher, and with the drivers, we are not getting anything. And our maintenance and those things, and passengers will stop flowing. So me, from my opinion, if the government can resume the fuel, the price will be still like that, I will be okay, because we are all human beings. I can also join a car. I'm also a human being. Not always I'll be driving. My families are joining the car. So to me, to increase the fare, I thought it's not the best idea, but rather they should reduce the fuel.
Sophia Francis, a passenger, says the increase in transportation fares and commodities is affecting their livelihoods.
Because even the masses, they are tired for it. Pure water is 20%, vanilla is 30%, bag is 30%, 3 cedi before, now is 6 cedi. It's too much. It's too much. So JPRT is too.
Now let's cross over to the Upper East region, where traders in the Bawku municipality of the Upper East region have called on government to review fuel prices. According to them, the constant hike in Bawku is a major commercial hub in Togo, making it a vibrant town, leading in the commercial sale of livestock and other major farm produce, including onions. However, traders in the Bawku municipality are not happy. The regular hike in fuel prices, according to residents, is a major detracting factor affecting their businesses and socio-economic situations. The rippling effect of increasing transportation fares and daily commodities has become their daily nightmare.
Now, if you even buy fuel, 5 cedi, you can't go anywhere. Last we used to buy 3 cedi from town to even here. Now you can't buy even 5 cedi, it will not reach you. We are pleading the government that we should please reduce the fuel prices. It's very bad. It was very low. This one, for instance, we were buying it 5 cedi. Now it's 10 cedi because of the fuel prices. If you are going to that from here to Accra, that the fuel is very high.
The increase of the fuel prices, it has affected our business a lot. As of now, I'm talking to you, I'm a yam seller. I sell yam, and then where I'm buying my yam from is Kintampo. So from here, first when we bought car from here to Kintampo, now, we used to pay 70 cedis. And now, because of the increasements, now they say one this thing, like if I'm going, one person is 100 cedis. And more to the point, if I get to the place to buy the yam and come, now 1 tuber, 100 tubers of yam. First, I used to pay 70 cedis per 100 tubers of yam. But because of the increasements, now if I take 100 tubers of yam, now they are demanding 100 Ghana cedis. They are now demanding 100 Ghana cedis. So like if I calculate, if I take like 100, like if I take 10, they call it how many? 10,000 tubers of yam. That's the calabash. That when we calculate, one calabash is 100 tubers. So if you are able to take 10,000 tubers of yam, it means one calabash you are going to pay 100 Ghana cedis. So the 100 Ghana cedis times 10, that's 10 million. So because of that, if you come, like we are selling one. So because of the increasements, if I come, maybe I will sell 1 5 cedis, 7 cedis. And because of the increasements, if I pay that amount and I've come to my place, I can't sell 5 cedis and 7 cedis again. And
away from Boko, some registrants of the ongoing SIM card re-registration at Alajo have expressed satisfaction with the process. Now, though concerned about the long queues, they are optimistic they will re-register before the deadline.
Government, through the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, issued a directive that all subscriber identity model cards should be re-registered spanning a 6-month period from October 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2022, using the Ghana card. The move is meant to clamp down on the increasing threat of fraud and also to track down and monitor people who would use their phones to indulge in criminal activities. The re-registration exercise, which commenced from October 2020, has faced several challenges, including long queues at some centers and problems with the network of the service providers. This has led calls for an extension of the re-registration exercise. Our rounds took us to the MTN office at Alajo, where some registrants expressed satisfaction with the current state of the exercise.
So currently I'm at MTN office, and this is what is being required for the registration. Yes, ECOWAS identity card. You just have to take your ECOWAS identity card with you and do your registration as fast as possible. So we are here to have a conversation with them how far the registration is going.
So good. Just a little bit challenges that we are going through. At times we get everything that we want to get everything, but so far so good. It's going.
The first process by using the unique code. Afterwards, what's next? The procedures.
I will have to take your passport picture. After that, I'll have to scan the card. I will scan the card
to see whether it's original
or not. So after that, I will have to take your biometrics. Your fingertips. After taking your fingertips, then I'll have to take your GPS, your digital address. After taking your digital address, then that will be all. Yes, please.
That's the process. But is it not stressful, and then didn't you face any challenges doing it for them?
No. We don't face any challenge.
In terms of network?
Well, the network, it has been solved. And we are working smoothly on it, so we don't face any problem with it.
So, some people have the voters registration card, and they really want to use that one to register. Some people don't have the ECOWAS card yet. So what happened to those people?
I think if you don't have the ECOWAS card, you cannot be registered. That's strictly ECOWAS card. The other cards cannot be registered. Only the ECOWAS card. So if you don't have it, unless you go in for some, before you can be re-registered. That's it.
So we saw how the process is. One part that got me was the digital address. So if right now our mothers, they are coming and then they don't even know what is called digital address. So can you please delve into that for them?
What I will say is, in every house, they've placed that digital address in every house. AMA did it. So it's a plate which they normally write. For instance, here like this, they write GA, then the number will follow. So in other areas, it differs. There's a difference. So in every house, that number plate is there. So before you come here, you need to get that one before you can come here.
So what if the person didn't see it in front of the house and it got here? What will happen?
If the person didn't see it in front of the house and got here, unless you call to the house so that somebody gets it for you. Because if it is not in, it cannot be completed.
The Medina-Adentan Highway footbridges are located along the N4 highway between Medina and Adentan Footbridges Highway. This stretch of the highway recorded a lot of fatalities in pedestrian knockdown, which triggered a civil revolt when a student of the West African Senior High School was killed on the stretch. Now, this led to the construction of 6 footbridges along the stretch. However, some road users have resorted to jaywalking, bringing back the same fears before the construction of the footbridges. Now, we take a look at the disturbing situation.
In 2018, there were a number of public demonstrations by the local residents due to a high number of accidents and deaths on Medina-Adentan Highway. However, this triggered authorities to fast completion of the footbridge. However, some residents are still not using the footbridge, but rather endangering their life by crossing the road. We want to find out from some pedestrians why they are still crossing the road instead of using the footbridge.
Adentan Medina Highway links several communities in Accra, constructed in 2018. It was to improve road transportation in the Adentan Medina and several neighboring communities. This, however, brought pain to most road users due to the absence of footbridge along the stretch. Several lives were lost. Several calls for the construction of footbridge fell on deaf ears until a student of the West African Senior High School was crushed to death whilst crossing the road. Residents of Adentan and Medina joined forces to demonstrate, demanding the completion of construction of abandoned footbridge in the area. However, checks reveal that pedestrians have resorted to crossing the roads using the median at the peril of their lives. Not even sanctions and punishments by authorities are deterring road users from engaging in jaywalking. At Medina, the same attitude was seen with pedestrian crossing from unapproved routes. Some road users at Medina gave reasons, including the absence of street lights around the footbridge, leading to increased activities of robbery on the footbridge.
To my own view, it's, at times people find it difficult to use the overhead bridge because of health condition, at times some people. And at times some people is because of selfish interest that they are after sharp way of crossing the road instead of using the recommended place. So at times, in my own view, is based on, at times some people is because of health condition, at times people have leg pain, back pain and all that. So that is why at times some people use that avenue to cross the road, and instead of using the overhead bridge like that. So that is what I can literally say. And the only thing is that to my own view, people can only follow the government protocols, and personally is no matter how you can be able to, even if you put another staircase, let's say a bridge 1, 2, 3 like that, people can still violate it as well. So the only thing is that it's personal discipline, what I can say, because the government is trying to protect the life of people so that in crossing the bridge it cannot be able to kills other people's life and property as well. So that is why using the overhead. But even though there is no way you can be able to create another way out, the only way out I can say is just using the overhead bridge. That is the only way I can be able to.
Still on our local front, security services have come under heavy public backlash after what has been attributed to the politicization of the services. Now, the recent posture of the security services, according to Adib Sani, a security expert, raises much concern and has called on stakeholders to clean the security services to prevent the boiling security threat to the country.
Interestingly, when power switches hands, then you have security services allegedly being in bed with that government and against opposition, okay? And unfortunately, we have also succeeded in poisoning, particularly the police, with politics. There are some police stations you go and it looks like an extension of a political party. And the police officers are complaining. They are complaining, but you know, it's not Guta, it's not Nat, it's not, they cannot say it, they cannot go on demonstration, they cannot go on strike. But a lot of officers are complaining over the seeming over politicization of the security services. And that is very dangerous for our democracy, because immediately you see politics creeping into security, then you have every reason to be worried. I mean, when you compare Ghana, I mean, I'm pretty sure Kwame and Ama would agree with me, to other West African countries, we've come a long way in terms of democracy, peace, and security. As for Burkina, it looks like, you know, they've lost hope, you know, Mali and other countries. But Ghana largely even remains untouched by this terrorism scourge. However, I see our biggest threat not coming from outside, but rather within. That is the fear. So I mean, this is an opportunity for us. There's still that window of opportunity for us to clean up the system and ensure, let the police do their work, let the military do their work. Let us stop all the unnecessary politicking. And I think Ghanaians also need a reconscientization. The politics is too much. When something happens, I'm pretty sure they ask, is it NDC or MPP, before giving an opinion which is appropriate to whether that person is MPP or NDC. You see something that is not right, that is detrimental to the state. But just by virtue of the person's political inclination is right or is wrong. So I think that the youth particularly need to wake up. Let us go beyond the politics. What is most important is the interest of the state. NDC, MPP cannot be bigger than the state.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on Wednesday, the 12th day of January 2022, cut the sword for the construction of Accra STEM Academy. This ambitious project under the 21st Century Schools is dedicated to the teaching and learning of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
The Accra STEM Academy, which is expected to be completed within the next 24 months, will offer education from kindergarten to high school, with an expected population of about 2,000 students. The academy, when completed, will have a number of state-of-the-art facilities, including science laboratories, a sick bay, administrative area, staff common room, library, washrooms, canteen, and a 1,500 capacity multipurpose hall. The 32 million cedis project, when completed, will equip learners from kindergarten to senior high school with 21st century skills in problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, data literacy, digital literacy, and computer science. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister of Education Yaosei Educhum said the school will be very pivotal in the vision of the President to leverage on science and technology in the fourth industrial revolution.
So the first STEM Academy in Ghana is going to begin today here with the sword curtain by His Excellency the President. His vision that in the fourth industrial revolution for Africa to compete, we need to have the great minds starting from kindergarten focusing on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. He has already commissioned the construction of schools at the senior high school level. 10 schools are going to be opened this year focusing on STEM at the secondary. But he also believes that there has to be a pipeline. And that is the reason behind the Accra STEM Academy, beginning from kindergarten all the way to high school. Robotics is going to be done. Internet of Things will be here. Artificial intelligence will be here. Mr. President, we are grateful. We are grateful because you've kept your promise to this country.
On his part, President Akufo-Addo explained that government attaches importance to the teaching of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics at all levels of the nation's educational system.
Government is repositioning our educational system anchored on STEM education. Already, as part of my commitment to the advancement of STEM education in the country, government has commenced the development of 20 STEM centers and 10 model STEM senior high schools across the country, which are at various stages of completion. Some of these schools will be operationalized this year. These institutions and centers will be fitted with state-of-the-art equipment and laboratories to facilitate teaching and learning in all areas of study, including artificial intelligence and robotics. Within the next 24 months, God willing, the Accra STEM Academy will be completed from kindergarten to senior high school, with an expected student population of some 2,000 students. This academy will have a number of state-of-the-art facilities, including a 4-story classroom block, science laboratories, a sick bay, administrative area, staff common room, library, washrooms, canteen, and a 1,500 capacity multi-purpose hall. The Accra STEM Academy, being constructed at a cost of some 32 million cedis, will equip learners from kindergarten to senior high school with 21st century skills in problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, data literacy, digital literacy, and computer science. In addition, the Accra STEM Academy will be a place where learners in junior high school will be provided with the options of learning basic engineering, manufacturing, and global studies to help them make informed decisions on their preferred programs of choice at senior high school level.
Coming up next is business. Let's do business. The Enterprise Village, in partnership with Ghana Tech Lab under the Pathway to Sustainable Employment program, is organizing its maiden local startup summit under the theme Sustainable Business Development and Job Creation in Accra using mobile technologies. Now, Mariam Jima is the administrative and finance manager at the Enterprise Village, and she joins us for more on the summit.
Initially stated, the Enterprise Village Hub is in collaboration with Ghana Tech Lab to actually help curb the rate of unemployment, and in doing that, we came together to train unemployed graduates, aspiring entrepreneurs and young creatives. So we provided them with 6 weeks intensive training in mobile app, and it was free. So basically the summit is to give them the avenue for them to put to test the knowledge, what they have learned from the training, and to equally pitch their innovative ideas to seasoned businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, and key players in the ecosystem.
How many participants are we expecting to partake in this summit?
Okay, so we actually trained, so out of the training, we had about 12 of them coming out. So we have 3 groups forming out of these 12 trainees. So they are participating in the pitching to our key players in the ecosystem.
Now, where's this summit happening?
So the summit is happening at the hub right here, right at Jolu. That's the Enterprise Village Hub, 7 Chimit Street in Jolu, right at the hub. Yeah.
Let's look at the training in itself. What would these persons, gain from the said training in the first place?
Okay, so the training was centered on mobile application. The world is tech. So we're looking at driving the youth in that direction. We're looking at creating a space to encourage them to pursue career in tech, or to create innovations that can cause changes and bring economic boosting into our society. So basically that's what the training is about, to boost them or to equip them with tech skills.
Right, but apart from that, are there any other benefits you can talk
Yes,
about?
exactly. So, you know, not all of them will make it out of this pitching stage to the next stage as in our incubation program.
Right.
So those of them who don't make it to the incubation program will get to the employability stage where they are being posted to organizations to intern. So they get the skills to also be able to work, not necessarily to be entrepreneurs.
It looks like you've selected the people already. Is that a case? Who can attend this summit?
We haven't anybody at all. It's open to the public. Everybody can attend because we want people to participate in creating this change. We want people to be a part of curbing the rate of unemployment. So everybody is invited.
Everyone is invited.
Definitely.
Well, she was speaking on Newsbreak with Justice Appiah. We go for a quick break. When we are back, international news is next.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCAP, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244 405047, 0242 135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
Take some stories from our international partners, the People's Dispatch. Now, over a month and a half into the strike action, which continues to intensify at South Africa's largest dairy sector employer, Clover, unions allege petrol bomb attacks have been carried out to intimidate its members. Now, in a statement on January 11, the General Industries Workers Union of South Africa and the Food and Allied Workers Union, which are leading the industrial action by 5,000 Clover workers since November 22, listed a series of attacks that have been taking place since January 7.
On the night of January 7th, a striking workers' car was petrol bombed. On the night of Saturday, January 8th, another striking workers' car was petrol bombed. On the night of Sunday, January 9th, 5 carloads of men visited 2 striking workers and demanded that they end the strike. Also, on the night of Sunday, January 9th, another 3 striking workers received threatening phone calls demanding that they end the strike. The statement read, GEWUSA's president, Mametilwe Sebe, told People's Dispatch that the unions will be filing a complaint to the police, naming the company as responsible for these attacks and threats. That the company could encourage or use such techniques should not come as a surprise to anyone who knows the background of its owners, Sebe said, referring to the Israeli Central Bottling Company. It is the 60% owner of Milko Consortium, which bought Clover in a controversial merger in 2019. Opposing the merger, unions and civil society groups at the time had argued that CBC, by operating in illegally occupied territories of Palestine, was in violation of the international law and hence should not be permitted to buy out South Africa's oldest and largest dairy company. This objection, however, was disregarded by the Competition Tribunal on the grounds that it does not have the jurisdiction to consider objections on such grounds. Unions had also raised objections on the ground that the merger appeared to be part of a restructuring program that was underway at the time and would result in massive job losses. The merging parties assured the tribunal not only that no jobs will be shared as a result of the merger, but also that the ongoing retrenchments will be put on hold until October 2022, and 500 new jobs will be created in the meantime. While the unions were skeptical of these assurances, the tribunal was convinced and gave a go-ahead for the merger. The retrenchment section 189A notices Clover has recently issued is an outright violation of the conditions on which the tribunal had permitted the merger, the unions argue. They have pointed out that the restructuring plan Clover has referred to in these notices will affect 7,382 jobs inside Clover and its subsidiaries. The company is contemplating at least 1,418 job losses. Over 800 other jobs have been already shared by Clover by forcing workers to opt for voluntary severance packages, by relocating their jobs from inland regions to expensive coastal cities where they won't be able to survive on the wages they earn. We are talking about a company complicit in human rights violations in occupied Palestinian territories. We are talking about a company that blatantly lied to the competition tribunal of a foreign country and took over its largest dairy company. Sebe said, arguing it should not be incredible that a company with such record can opt to physically intimidate striking workers. The petrol bomb attacks, GIWUS's president pointed out, have come at a time when the company has been unsettled by the victories the unions have recently had in this drawn-out struggle. Earlier this month, on receiving a written complaint by the unions in a meeting on January 4th, the Competition Tribunal assured them that it would inquire into the allegations of Clover's violation of merger conditions. Less than a week later, on January 10th, the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration ruled against Clover and in favor of the unions, ordering the company to pay by January 14th the Christmas bonuses of the striking workers, which it had illegally cancelled. Since the strike started, the wages have been stopped by also withholding the Christmas bonus, paid usually in November. The company wanted to make it impossible for the workers to survive on strike. However, we survived December, and now, with the release of the bonuses, workers can afford to continue the strike for another month, Sawyer explained. The CCMA is also expected to soon rule on another dispute raised by the unions regarding allegedly unfair dismissals of hundreds of striking workers in December. Coming against these setbacks faced by the company, the attacks are a sign of its growing desperation, he argued. Even in the event that we cannot prove in a court of law that this person from the company paid these individuals to carry out these attacks, because these shadowy deals always happen in the dark, our argument remains that the ultimate responsibility rests at the company's doorstep. Even if they have not directly ordered the hit, which is a possibility, we do not discount they have created a climate in communities to promote such attacks, he said. Community organizations of the poor and unemployed, which have historically stood in solidarity with working class organizations, such as the United Front in Gauteng, have allegedly been approached by one Bishop Mabena, promising its workers permanent jobs in Clover to replace the striking workers. You must see this in the context of this sea of unemployment, which has driven the masses desperate for jobs, he explained. By approaching community organizations of poor people with whom we've historically stood in solidarity, with offers to hand over jobs which they know belong to our members, the company is creating futures. Its maneuvers, Sebe alleges, may have led many individuals desperate for jobs to believe that they can carry favor from Clover by undertaking such attacks on striking workers and offering their services as strike bearers. So, even if the attacks were independent initiatives of strike bearers, the company remains responsible for creating an atmosphere to entice such acts. Nevertheless, support for the strike action continues to expand. At a mass meeting on January 8th, 25 organizations pledged solidarity with the strike action and endorsed the call on consumers to boycott Clover. This includes several community organizations, the Unemployed People's Movement, Hawkers Association, Agriculture and Allied Workers Union, multiple Palestine solidarity organizations, left political parties, and other trade unions. The South African Federation of Trade Unions, SAFTU, undertook to mobilize solidarity support, especially from trade union affiliates that are organizing in the workplaces and companies linked to Clover. A joint statement by Giwusa and FAO on January 9 said, in particular, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, and Transport Action Retail and General Workers Union, TAR, are going to be approached. NUMSA organizes companies supplying packaging materials to Clover, like Nampak and Dairy Park, and THOR organizes the retail shops that stock and sell Clover products. The Commercial, Catering and Allied Workers Union, SACAWU, an affiliate of the ruling ANC's Labour ally, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, has also committed to hold a meeting with the striking workers to discuss possible solidarity support. SACAWU organizes major retailers like ShopRite and Pick n Pay, the statement added. In the meantime, pressure on the government to intervene to stop the job losses is increasing. Unions have called on the government to nationalize Clover on account of its alleged violations of major conditions and to place the enterprise under workers' management. On Thursday, January 13, the striking workers will hold a demonstration outside the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition and march from there to the Union Building in Pretoria. They will submit a memorandum of demands calling for divestment of the CBC-dominated Milco from Clover, reinstatement of Clover workers, and for DTIC to intervene in stopping factory closures and retrenchments, Giwusa and FAO said in a statement. SAFTU's General Secretary, Zwelinzima Vavi, will be joining the workers in Pretoria. A separate demonstration will also be held by striking workers outside Cape Town. Many civil society organizations and progressive movements are expected to join these demonstrations.
Credit goes to our international partners, the People's Dispatch. Coming up next is sports. Now let's do sports. Host Cameroon became the first team to qualify for the last 16 at the Africa Cup of Nations with an emphatic 4-1 win over Ethiopia in Group A. Now Burkina Faso also muzzled their way to an important 1-0 victory over Cape Verde in Thursday's second Group A clash, thanks to Hassan Bandi's 40th minute goal.
Forwards Vincent Abubakar and Karl Toko Ekambi scored twice each after Ethiopia took an early lead in Yaoundé. Hotessa Dawa slid home after 4 minutes, but the hosts were level after 8 as Toko Ekambi headed home. In the second half, Abubakar struck twice and Lyon's Toko Ekambi then added his second after 67 minutes. Cameroon are certain to qualify for the next stage as one of the best 4 third-place sides at the very least, but will win their group if they avoid defeat against Cape Verde on Monday. After scoring 2 penalties as the Burkinabe were beaten 2-1 on the opening day, Cameroon captain Abubakar is the tournament's top scorer with his header and tap-in taking him to 4 goals. The indomitable Lions, who are seeking a 6th Nations Cup title for Cameroon, have now won 6 games in a row and have both feet in the last 16 with 6 points to their name. The Stallions were without Bertrand Traoré after his positive COVID-19 test. While the Aston Villa forward was absent in Yaoundé, coach Kamu Malo led the team for the first time after returning from his own COVID case. In the opening half hour, the 2013 losing finalists, who were the stronger team throughout, called Cape Verde keeper Vozina into action a number of times. Shortly before halftime, Bande finally got the better of Vozina, chesting home Issa Kabori's fine cross to give the Burkinabe the lead. Cape Verde's best chance came around the half-hour mark when Julio Tavares forced Hervé Kofi into action for the first time, but the Burkinabe keeper tipped the shot round the post when a firmer strike may have beaten him. In the second half, the Blues Sharks tried to be more positive, with Gary Rodriguez, Julio Tavares, and Captain Stopira all having opportunities. Yet, They were unable to convert them, and coach Bobesta, still missing because of yet another COVID infection, will have been a frustrated viewer as his team failed to capitalize on their opening win against Ethiopia. Burkina Faso's improved performance gives them every chance of claiming a spot in the last 16, and victory against pointless Ethiopia on Monday will see them finish second in the group should Cape Verde fail to beat Cameroon.
Now, meanwhile, the table in Group C of the ongoing African Cup of Nations has begun to take shape after the completion of the first round of matches in the competition. Now, Gabon lead the pack with 3 points, followed by Morocco also with 3 points, while Comoros and Ghana are placed 3rd and 4th respectively, having lost the first round of fixtures. Now, in the following report, we will preview the upcoming matches between Ghana and Gabon today as the second round of fixtures continues in the tournament.
4-time champions, Ghana will aim to win their first match of the tournament to secure all 3 points and boost their chances of making it to the knockout stage of the competition after succumbing to an 83rd minute Soufiane Boufal goal in their 1-0 defeat to Morocco in the first group match. A win for Gabon could progress them into the next stage of the competition, while a defeat could spell the end of Ghana's journey in this year's edition of the competition. There were injury and fitness concerns from both camps, with several reports from the camp of the Black Stars indicating that skipper Andre Ayew did not take part in yesterday's training session after sustaining a head injury in the match against the Atlas Lions of Morocco. It was, however, being indicated that the captain of the side was given time off as a precautionary measure. Black Stars medics have passed him fit as at Tuesday evening. Ajax winger Mohamed Kudus is expected to join the Black Stars camp in Cameroon this week after he was named in Milovan Rajevac's final 28-man squad for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, despite continuing his recovery from an injury. Kudus has not played a game for both club and country after coming off injured in Ghana's 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier win over South Africa in November last year. Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Edwin Simeon Okraku, has appealed for support for the Black Stars in their upcoming match against Gabon, assuring the nation the team will do anything to secure a win in the match.
We know this, and we also know that to be able to bring that title of envy, we have to be competitive all the way. As we speak now, our focus is to come out of the group, and then we can refocus on the elimination stages of the competition. We have to qualify from this group, and I'm very positive that we will qualify. Thank you.
Ahead of the match, the news team took to the streets to gauge the mood of the public as they analyzed the defeat to Morocco and gave their expectations of the team tomorrow.
It's tough for them. They made it tough for them. They could have even salvaged a point with Morocco the last time they played with Morocco. But looking at it, Gabon has 3 points. Morocco has 3 points. Now Ghana is a must win it's a must win against Gabon, so that we can now look forward as to whether what will happen between. And we know definitely for Gabon against Morocco against Comoros is just a cheap thing for them. It's a walkover. If Morocco can beat Ghana at that particular match, then Comoros are just there to dash points over there. Let me use that word, to dash points. So what I expect from Ghana is this weekend, that's tomorrow, Friday. I expect them to win the match, no matter what. Else, if we put ourselves in a critical situation where we always be doing the usual pairing and doing the calculation of this one to beat this one has to beat this one, permutations, we are always good at that. Definitely, normal Ghanaians, we don't start our tournaments in a good ladder, but we try our best no matter what. I believe that tomorrow, God willing, we are going to beat the Gabonese. Definitely, they also had a recap match they played the last time. But one thing that will help them is they have Aubameyang is back, and then Lemina is also back. There are 2 key players that they lost the other time, so they are going to make it more difficult for Ghanaians. What they wanted is a draw, and they are true. Morocco will definitely beat Comoros, and then we are being left, and then we have to be paired maybe the 3rd best team. That's the best thing we can do. So we just actually don't have hope like that. But at least everything can happen in football. We are still behind the Black Stars, though the team is not playing the way we want, to their strength. But we hope the best. They do.
Now let's go to the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale, to gauge expectations of some fans.
The team didn't really play as a team
there was too much individualistic play within amongst the team. You could see Sulemana running, especially the first half, running with the ball, keeping the ball for a very long time, and that is not how you play as a team. So far, even just before the AFCON tournament, they went and lost this in the friendly match that was supposed to even prepare them towards the tournament. So it's quite discouraging. But I think that from now onwards, they should play as a team. Unfortunately, we seem to be seeing some kind of something that seems to be banging our hopes on only Kudus, who is here to join the team. And that is not how you build a team. What are you telling the other teammates who are already on the pitch? He took Abanga and some other new players from the Ghana Premier League, and he's benching them. So I think the coach didn't do well at all. He can do better. I expect that he start Wakaso together with Dede Ayew, Jordan, and John Pinstall. And then he should also make changes when necessary. You shouldn't wait till last minute to make those changes.
Blaster team last playing was just like a vegetable soccer, which is not combined to our soccer to play for national team. But today, the coach Milo will do his home economics very innocent categories of playing for Black Star to win their match. Use Wakaso, Fatao, and Lieutenant.
The short breather.
Win.
The Musicians Union of Ghana will hold national and regional elections on February 23, 2022 to choose officers to serve for a 4-year term. Now, our entertainment desk profiles the 3 candidates aspiring to succeed former President Vice Osei Kufuor, who left office in 2019.
Of Ghana, an umbrella group for all musicians and music group professionals, incorporated in December 9, 1975, with registration number 8460, has regional offices in all 10 regions of the country. On February 23, 2022, 3 self-motivated, action-driven, result-oriented individuals will vow for presidency of the organization after years of litigation and personal wrangling. They are acting president Henry Bisa Simmons, Deborah Freeman, Ras Caleb Apia Levy. Henry Bisa Simon was born into a family of musicians. He attended Agri Memorial Senior High School and led the Pelicans Band of Cape Coast to win the prize at the Big Band competition held in Accra by the Arts Council of Ghana in the early 70s. A graduate of the National Academy of Music in Winneba, University of Education. He also has a diploma from the School of Audio Engineering in London. A prolific songwriter, keyboardist, singer, he also worked with Osibisa, Ebo Taylor, Pat Thomas, Papa Youngson, C.K. Mann, Jeduble Ambule, and the Evergreen Tego Sisters. A board member of the VGMAs and Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO. The veteran musician has 5 albums to his credit with a catalogue of hit songs such as Sinana, Awoye, and Belembe. He led the Bisa Band in addition to teaching and monitoring young musicians. Ras Caleb Apia is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of Musica and an ambassador for Ghana Hearts Foundation. He is the General Manager for Red House Record Ghana and board member of the Model Union of Ghana, Moduga. Deborah Freeman, who serves as the current General Secretary, attended Nasarawa State University, Zenith University College, and Gulfa Institute of Theology. She is also General Secretary of the Council of Informal Workers Association of the Trade Union Congress.
Now that's all for this afternoon's Pan African Television News. Before we go, a recap of our headlines. Concerned Drivers Association to increase transportation fares by 40% beginning next week. The Education Ministry says plans by government to put up 35 21st century schools will improve STEM education in the country. And in sports, Black Stars to decide via faith in their crucial encounter with Gabon. We brought you details of these stories and many more live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abelempe, Accra, Ghana. Follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Pan African Television, on Instagram at Pan African Television, and on Twitter at Pan African Television. My name, Ivy Abnadi Nakite. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message. Your face is going to hello? I didn't know. What's happened?
It's a child who will be a quiet, say, what? I dare say,
besides, when a friend, I'm so young.